There's a lot of weird shit out in the world that we can't explain. I've been watching, I started watching some weird videos based on an article about a shark, 9 meter, no, 9 foot shark, great white shark, that had been tagged, and they tracked the data on this tag, and apparently now I don't know this, I've never studied this, but apparently the temperature of a great white shark is about 45 degrees Fahrenheit, and this tracking software on this tag apparently went from 45 degrees to 73 or 78 degrees in a matter of seconds, and it descended 300 feet in less than a minute. And whatever was causing this kept happening over a few days. And then the tracking device rose to the surface, they recovered it. So they're assuming there's some kind of a super predator in the ocean. Now, I've always, if you've read the Steve Alton books, they're fictional books about a megalodon shark. They go down into the Mariana Trench, and they discover still exists after supposedly being extinct for, millions of years, or so on and so forth. But there's a lot of weird shit out there that we don't know about. And I feel like we should. Like, we go into space. We have plans to go to Mars. Like, literally a suicide mission to go to Mars. We go to the moon. We have a space station. We have satellites. We have all this information. And in today's day and age, everybody's got a smartphone. Correct? For the most part. And, maybe it's 60, maybe it's 70, maybe it's 80% of the population have smartphones nowadays. Now, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and even the early 90s, people had really shitty ways of recording videos and audio and so on and so forth. So a lot of the information that was delivered over that time period can be questioned, be like, well, it can be explained, I think. But anything nowadays that's captured on camera, I think it's hard to disprove, because even if you're a really shitty photographer or videographer, cameras do a pretty good job of taking up the slack for you. And you end up with information and video and data that's pretty hard to argue. So in this case, there's no video, there's no any kind of footage, but a lot of people are claiming that it could be a megalodon shark, which is, they grew to be up to 70, 80, I think as much as like 90 feet long, weighs as much as 100,000 tons or something. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure about that, but they're very large predator animals. And the Steve Alton books give a good explanation of that. Even though it's fictional, the Mariana Trench is the deepest point on Earth that we know of so far, and temperatures and the ability to get there is very difficult. So who knows? I mean, I'm not saying that they do or don't exist, but there's some really interesting footage out there, like I'm not saying Bigfoot or Loch Ness Monster, but things flying through the air. And I'm not even saying UFOs, like things that look like in our minds how I perceive what a dragon should look like. Like, I've always had this weird, and this is crazy, I'll admit that this is pretty crazy. I've had this theory that deep below the mountains, where we assume is all rock and stone, there are dragons sleeping. And one day they're going to wake up and those mountains are going to come crumbling down, and these dragons are going to rise up from the mountains, and we're going to be like, holy shit, well, there was dragons. I don't know. The idea of dragons is cool to me. This isn't even what I wanted to talk about tonight. It's freaking 10:49. We've been watching videos here, Carol and I. My father-in-law, Gary, is down, and he's been watching Game of Thrones, and I think he got hooked on it. So I've been wanting to watch it over again, because we watched the first episode together last night, and it's so fun to go back and see how season 1 started and how it evolves, and know in your mind where it ends up. And I think the writing is good on the first season, but I think it just gets better and better and better as the series goes along. Anywho, what I really wanted to talk about tonight and I'm going to keep this brief. This is probably going to be like a 10-15 minute video. How to basic. Go to YouTube and do a search for how to basic. Go ahead. I'll wait here. I'll do my nails. You go out there and I'll do my nails, alright? No, I'm not going to do my nails. I used to do my nails. I just don't do them anymore because I'm nearly 40 years old. I'm a grown-ass man. As Corey Smith might say. Corey Willett Smith, sorry. So how to basic is, I don't know much about the individual who runs this YouTube channel. Based on what I've seen, though, my opinion is whoever is recording these videos is fucked up. Really fucked up. Or really artistic. I don't know. Sometimes there's a fine line there. But if I had to go below the ice, above the ice, I'd have to say he's pretty crazy. The first few videos that I saw, now he's been doing these I think for about 2 years, maybe a little bit longer. The first one I ever saw was how to... I can't remember the name of it because I was trying to find it so I could put a link up for it. Now if I find it, I'll put it up there. If not, ignore that. He takes, for example, early on it was based on food when I started watching it, like how to make the perfect waffle or pancake or something like that. But the title is usually not related to the video itself. You never see anything more than this individual's hands, thighs, calves, and feet. But you rarely even see that. Like, just do me a favor. If I've ever asked you for a small favor, this is a small favor. Search on YouTube how to basic and look at like a video of like how to make the perfect waffle or how to make I don't know, how to babysit. Based on what I've seen, this dude's messed up. These are really weird videos, but he's getting huge hits and he's been around for a long time. And it started to get me thinking about, like, I think crazy things from now every now and again. Like, I remember in 4th grade, me and Rafael Gamares, who I'm friends with on Facebook, we went to school together right up through high school. But back in 4th grade, I think it was it was probably 5th grade, in home ec, we had no interest in being home ec, so we started writing a story and passing it back and forth together, and it was really weird, and there was no consistency to it with it, like, at all. It was just insane. It was crazy and weird, but these videos trump that. Like, this guy, let me narrow it down. Let me tell you all about these videos. Like, how to make a cheeseburger. I don't know if he has one he probably does. He'll take an egg and just place it down ever so nicely and gently and just pet it, and then he'll smash it. And then he'll take an Xbox and throw it on the ground and smash it with his foot, and then he'll cut a hole in like a horse and fill it with watermelon and like pretend to have sex with it with his hand, and like, they're really weird. They're like to the extreme weird. I can't explain them. I don't know why he does them, but they make me laugh. Like, to me, they're funny. To someone else, they might be sick and disgusting and gross. But to me, it's like an accident. I can't, like, when I'm driving by on the highway and there's a car on fire, I slow down and I look, I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy. I'm the asshole that's tying you up for the next 2 hours because I slow down. And I apologize right now for any time you've been in a situation where you're stuck in traffic due to rubbernecking. I'm probably one of those individuals. I try to keep my car moving, but I do turn my head and slow down probably 2, 3, 4 miles an hour. Just enough so that the car behind me has to slow down 2, 3, 4 miles an hour. So I'm really sorry about that, but I rubberneck. And I think it's natural in human nature to do that, and these videos have that same effect on me, where I see this, this guy destroying. He must have, I'm sure he's getting paid to a certain degree, because, I mean, he'll grill a steak and then slap it down on an Xbox. Just slap it for, like, 20 seconds. Just him slapping a steak that he just cooked, and then he'll throw it in the toilet and pee on it and stick his foot in the toilet. Like, it's really weird. And there's a lot... Hey, Toby. it's kind of like the first time I heard Mr. Bungle. If you've never heard Mr. Bungle, which is Mike Patton's like first band, I think, first structured band, go out and buy that album. Buy it. Don't download it. Don't illegally listen to it. Buy Mr. Bungle's first self-titled album. It's one of the best albums I've ever heard, and it changed my view on music. At first, I thought it was fucked up and weird, and then I listened to it over and over and again. I was like, wow, man, this is really good. And it really made me a follower of everything he does. Like, whenever Mike Patton does anything now, I listen to it. I'm not a huge fan of everything he does. He released an album called Adult Voice for... what the hell's the name of it? Let me just look it up so I don't screw this up and sound like an idiot. Adult Voice for Sound? Adult Voice for... I can't remember, but I remember I was probably about, I don't know, 17, 18 years old when I first heard Mr. Bungle. They released about three CDs, and a lot of people like their second CD a lot better, California, but their first CD for me was the best one, and the third one was really good too, but California didn't do a lot for me. He actually did all the voice work on like a lot of video games that you've probably played. I Am Legend, he made the sounds with his own voice for all the creatures in it. I'm going to do a video someday based solely upon Mike Patton, because he's incredibly talented individual. Jeez Louise. I'm really upset that I can't find this. There's got to be a... Here we go. Okay, who cares? Blah, 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 beep-a-dee-beep-bah. I Am Legend. Adult voice for something. Portal. He did the voice of the Anger Sphere. The Darkness. Voice of the Darkness. Left 4 Dead, he did the infected voices. Left 4 Dead 2, The Last of Us, he did the infected voices. Son of a bitch, this is really pissing me off. Anywho, he released this album that he recorded while he was on tour with, I believe it's Faith No More, or it might have been Mr. Bungle. And every hotel that he was in, he had, if I'm not mistaken, it was a 4-track recorder, and everything you hear on this recording, like Robot Sex is the name of a song, is his voice. Everything on the CD, as far as I know, is just his voice and maybe some effects. But the man is amazingly talented. He conducts orchestras in Italy and does operas in, all over the world. He's an extremely talented guy, and a lot of people only know him as the singer of Faith No More, but he's undeniably one of the most talented people in the world, and you should certainly give him a shot. So my recommendations of the month are How to Basic on YouTube. It's weird, it's messed up, but it gives me the same impression for my eyes as Mike Patton does for my ears. And I know that sounds a little weird, but I want you to check those out. If you know me, this will give you a little insight to, I don't want to say the little darker part of me, but those of you who know Mike Patton won't question this. They'll be like, oh, okay, Mike Patton. Okay, I understand why he's talking about Mike Patton, and I understand him a little bit better more. That doesn't make any sense. I've had 2 drinks tonight, and I've been watching a lot of internet videos. E3, like I said, I was going to talk about E3 a little bit more tonight, but I can't really concentrate. I also want to point something else out. Now, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes here. There's an individual online. His name is Greg Miller. He works for IGN, which is a company I really, 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 really would love to work for. They do video game reviews. They talk about all kinds of geeky industry stuff, movies, TV shows, celebrities, anything that's related to geek culture. And I hate to refer to everything they do as geek culture, but he does a show on YouTube called, Oreo Oration, where he reviews Oreo cookies. That's it. And he also does a bunch of other shows, the Game Over Greggy show, and so on and so forth. But he recently reviewed and gave a 10 to these. This is the peanut butter cup Oreo. This is Reese's peanut butter cup Oreo. This isn't just like some shitty peanut butter Oreos. This is Reese's peanut butter cup limited edition, and he gave him a 10. He said it's like eating a peanut butter cup and an Oreo all in one. It's something along those lines. And so, needless to say, I couldn't pass up the chance to try these things, and I want to review them as well. He's always looking for input. So I'm gonna do a video review. I'm hoping that, and if he watches this, I really want a job at IGN. I really, really think I would fit in with you guys really well. I'm a veteran, man. I've been a geek veteran, and I want a job there, and I will do anything in my power to move out to San Francisco to get a job at IGN. In my heart, I feel like that's where I need to be. Like, I watch their videos, I see those people on YouTube, on their own channels doing things, and I think, my God, this is just, I can feel it in my soul, like, that's where I need to be. And so I'm going to do everything in my power over the next 6 months to get there. Like, I'm hoping before the Road to 40 is over, I'm recording these from a whole other location on the West Coast. I mean, will it happen? I don't know. I'd really like it to, though. So I want to do a review. I want to tell him how I feel about these Oreos. And hopefully these Oreos are my key to, taking that next step in life, I don't know. I just think about, like, I don't want to be in Lynchburg, Virginia another year. I just don't. It's just not for me. I've met a lot of wonderful people here. My boss is a wonderful person, Danny Gibbons. There's a lot of great people here that I've met. Nathan White, a wonderful musician. My band, who I would be brokenhearted to have to say, I'm moving to California. But in my heart, in my soul, I know that's where I'm supposed to be right now. And I think I should have been there for a while. And if anybody has any contacts out there or could provide me with a job that could pay me enough, or even my wife, she's into medical billing and coding. We just want to get out there. I feel like, I know it's crazy. I know a lot of people think that life is black and white, but I just feel like I need to be there. I can feel my heart just pulling me west. Maybe even further than that. Maybe Hawaii. Maybe Japan. I don't know, but I know that I'm not supposed to be here anymore. And I'm still here. And I think when you get to that point and you linger, it's not a good thing, But it's tough being, and like I said, I hate calling myself this, but when you're driven by your art and your need to create, and you're stuck in one place, like, I think it's just, you got to break out of that mold, and you got to get out. You got to get out, no matter what. So who knows? I'm going to do everything in my power to get out there, even if it's not IGN, even if it's working at, Barnes and Noble as an assistant manager. If it pays the bills and gets me an apartment with my family out there, that's all that really matters. Like, I just need to get the fuck out of Lynchburg, Virginia. I'm sorry for the people who are here and are happy here, but I'm not anymore. Like, I love my family. I love the people I've met here. I love the people I've met throughout my life, but it's not where I'm supposed to be anymore. I know it. I feel it in my bones. Have you ever had that feeling? It's a tough feeling to overcome. I don't know. I just don't know how to take the next step in life. I think I'm afraid. When you have children, I have 3 children. My youngest son is 4. My oldest son is, he'll be turning 7 this month. And my daughter goes into her junior year. She'll be, she's 16 now. She'll be 17. Like, I don't want to sacrifice their happiness. Like, we have a relatively good life here, we barely are scraping to get by. Like, I'm not gonna say that like we're well off. Like, we have no savings. Our house is worth just barely, $10,000-$20,000 more than what we bought it for. We wouldn't walk away with much in our pocket if we sold our house, but I just don't know. Like, I'm all about jumping off the cliff, even though you don't know what's at the bottom, for myself. But when you involve the kids and my wife and stuff, like, and especially with my mother right now, like, she lives with us downstairs. We have an in-law apartment, and it's just like she has cancer, and like, I hate to say this, but I don't know how many years, months she has left, and like, that's tough to deal with. And I feel like sometimes that's what's holding me back. But if we don't sell the house now and make that move, it may never happen. I never went to college. I don't have a college education. I have a high school education. Sure, I've educated myself well beyond a high school education. I feel like I'm a pretty smart guy. Like, really smart guy. Like, I'm not a genius by any means. I might say that kidding around sometimes, but like, I'm smart enough that I can do things on like a technical level, on a artistic level. But those skills sometimes just don't matter to people anymore. Like, it's so easy to hire a technical level for such beans when it comes to pay. Like, I don't want to say I deserve more than what I have, but I have talents and skills that I think deserve pay greater than what I make now. I understand where I work, I can't make more than I do, because it's not like working for Microsoft. It's working for a local business. I love working for a local business. I love the personal connection to community, and I love community for that matter. Like, and I hate to see the downfall of communities. If you've never seen the documentary Walmart, The High Cost of Low Prices, you should check it out. Like, I always call shopping at Walmart feeding the beast, and I agree with it. I really, that's how I feel. But I also feel like, I could do more things to keep it local. I don't make a lot of money. I can't survive off of just shopping local, but I don't do enough of that. So, when I can shop at the Art Box, that's awesome. When I can go to smaller venues or locally owned restaurants, which, I mean, I kid you not, the last time me and my wife sat down at a restaurant to eat was probably over 2 years ago. Literally over 2 years ago. We can't afford those luxuries anymore. And that's bullshit, and it's sad. Like I feel like I'm going to be like 75 years old one day and be like, man, we never got to eat at that restaurant. That, we have an Ethiopian restaurant here. I would love to sit down with my wife and just sit down and enjoy a meal. I'd love to take my kids to, there's a lot of Mexican restaurants that are authentic. One in particular, the rest are kind of but we just don't do it anymore because we can't afford to do it. And it really breaks my heart that I can't do more. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get like this on camera. There's been a few videos that you've never seen where I've just literally broken down and just stopped it from rolling because I know you guys aren't going to see it. But I'm tired of living and struggling and scraping to get by. Like, when I know I'm smart and I know I'm talented, so I don't know. I may not be the greatest artist or the greatest musician or the greatest songwriter, but I'm a pretty good guy. Like, I take care of my family, and like, I'm sure a lot of this is 2 drinks before I started recording, but this road to 40 is like, it means a lot to me, and sitting down and recording these videos and showing you. And like I said, like, my kids 20 years from now, I want them to know that I did everything I could to make their lives as best as possible. And I'm not the only person who's in this position. Like, there's a good chunk of America who probably feel similar, if not exactly how I feel, that they can't do the things that they want to do to make their families' lives better. And And that's why I want to just, I want to rise up, and I want people to hear my voice, and I want to be an inspiration for people who are in the same position, who might have an opportunity to change things where I don't have an opportunity to change things. Or maybe I do, and I'm just not smart enough to make it happen. I certainly don't want these to be poor me videos. I don't want you to ever think I'm saying, oh, poor me, I can't get to California and live in a nice house for my family. Like, that's not what this is about. It's about just being happy and living life, and I don't need a mansion. I would be happy with a 1,500 square foot little house in the middle of nowhere, within, driving or bus or train or subway distance to my job. But I want to live while I'm alive. I don't, and a lot of you would be like, oh, do. But Bon Jovi stole a line from somebody. I think it's Lord Byron that said it. Live while I'm alive and sleep when I'm dead. And that's why it's 11:11 at night, and I could go on for another hour and have no problem. Like, I can survive off of very little sleep, because every moment of every day is a moment that I'm alive and living if I'm doing something that's creating. And I know this isn't like drawing. I know this isn't a painting. I know this isn't a song, but this is my heart reaching out artistically to people and saying, we're fucked up as a country, and I think it's time to stop relying on money and stop, focusing on that as being successful. And realize that success isn't about money. It's about living a full life, from start to bottom, and hoping that you can provide your family with that life. Like, if I was single and never married, no kids, like, whatever happened to me would be my own ultimate downfall or success. But now I'm not in that position anymore, and I don't know. I just don't see, like, it's a lot harder, because it's not just me or my desires or my wants or my needs anymore. It's the needs of, or my wants for my children. Like, I don't know. Anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, because I see no solution to this problem immediately. So check out How to Basic, and certainly check out all my other recommendations tonight. Mike Patton is a wonderful musician, extremely talented, and if you've never checked him out, then you're missing out on something. You guys have a great night, and if you're loving these like I'm loving them, please subscribe. Pass them along to people who you feel need to hear this message as well, especially this video. I know it started with paranormal weird shit, and it ended up here, but that's how it happens sometimes. So if this has moved you in a way that it hasn't moved you in the past, go out on a limb and pass this along to people who might remotely be interested in these. Go make somebody smile tomorrow and make something better yourself. Let's make the world spin a little happier, and I'll see you next time on the road to 40. Thanks for coming by every night. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And you have a wonderful night. I don't want to leave this on a low note, but I don't know how to bring it around. So, thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night. Take care.